Okay, now we're going to go over some of the actual techniques and drills that we do in our curriculum. And this is how we actually teach the students going through different ranks. And these are the techniques or the ways to disguise repetition of the concept of armbar. We're going to start from the inside wrist grab. Notice when he grabs me, my first thing is keep my fingers wide open. And this particular one, there's a couple ways to do this. One that I like is palms together, dropping my knees, coming up, grabbing, and ending up in armbar number 1. The next one is the same thing. I'm going to put my hand on top of his hand so he won't let go. I'll do the same thing, drop, bring my fingers point up, step in. Again, I'll end up in armbar number 1. Okay, again, one more time. So the first one was palms together. Second one, put my hand on top so he won't let go. Notice I'm not going to make this circular motion with my fingers. I'm going to drop down and bring my fingers straight up. Then I'm going to turn into an armbar number 1. Another variation of this one is I'm going to grab his wrist, step out, turn around. So I can strike from here, then I can end up in armbar number 1 again. One more time. This one is particularly good if he pulls me. So if he pulls me across, I'll use that force with him and I end up at armbar number 1 again. Okay. The next one, the third variation, is I'm going to grab his wrist, reach across from down here and go all the way up. And I'm going to turn the hand, I'm going to press down at the same time. So notice I'm still, it's a kind of an inverted armbar, what we call a reverse armbar. I'm going underneath the elbow at the same time. Okay, again, so from here, I don't have to reach all the way. I can grab here and just press down at the same time. If he's a really big guy and really strong, I'll go under his arm. Notice I grab, go under, and pick it up. So I'm still doing the same concept. I'm just doing a reverse armbar, going straight across. So again, the variations were palms together, putting the hand on top. We're going to duck under and end up with an armbar. We did grabbing the collar, pressing straight forward, or grabbing real hard, reach and press straight up. So those are the variations from the inside wrist. Now let's go to outside wrist. Come on this side, look please. These are a little bit more variations starting from this one. We're going to start armbar number 1. So I'm thinking, how am I going to from here end up in armbar number 1? So the way I do it, see this right here, this little loop that I have between my index finger and my thumb. So I'm going to drop, put his hand resting, kind of cradle the wrist, come up and give it to my hand. Now I got armbar number 1. Again, so I drop down, give it to my other hand. I got armbar number 1. I can reach over, blanket, bring it up, at the same time break his thumb. Notice with my wrist, end up in armbar number 2. Notice a different grip. One more time. So I'm going to drop, come up, break the thumb, step in to armbar number 2. Okay, the next one is many different variations of this. Next one I'm going to do from here, I'm going to get my thumb to twist out. Notice I'm going out. I'm going to re-grab the wrist and twist it. One more time. So I'm going to step out and re-grab it and twist it. Now I'm going to step back. Right foot back, now I still got an armbar. Okay, now notice the footing for this armbar is a little bit different, but it's still same hand, same foot, still forward. Again, so my thumbs goes out, stepping back, straight armbar. Okay, go back. Okay, so far remember we've done armbar number 1, armbar number 2, and the thumb out. Next one we can do, it's the same thumb out one, grab both hands, step in. Since I already got my right arm busy, I don't have to use my right hand, I can do it with my shoulder. See, it's the same concept. Reality, what would happen is that I would walk right into and actually break the elbow. Okay, so from this one, next one will be, I'm going to actually duck under it. So I'm going to grab the hand, duck, slice, any kind of strike, then go back to armbar number 1 again. So from here like this again, if he pulls me, I'm going to go with him, use the force, and end up in armbar number 1 so far. Okay, from here like this, also if he's really strong, notice I'm creating a little opening. I can grab, duck, with my elbow press straight down. Again, so I can go here, go under, and press straight up. That's reverse armbar. Okay, so those will be all the different versions from inside wrist and from outside wrist. Okay, so let's go over all the variations of the armbar again from outside wrist. Remember, the first one was actually cradling the hand and putting it on top to go to armbar number 1. The next one we did was going to armbar number 2. Next one we ducked under, turned around, and went to armbar number 1. We did another one with a thumb out, 2 different versions. One was stepping back to an armbar, one was stepping forward using my shoulder. And we also did one that we went duck under and using my shoulder to press up. These are going to be some of the drills we actually do in our classes. I'm going to cover some double wrist grab from behind, from the wrist, from the sleeve. I'm going to go over some defenses against a reverse punch, some of the things we can do by opening up the armbar and not thinking you can only do it with your arm. You can actually do it with your leg. And I'm going to go over some belt grabs. So let's start with double wrist from the back. Okay. So on these are all ways to disguise repetition. So the first one I'm going to do from here like this is I'm going to grab the wrist. Notice with my left hand, I'm going to step by and behind him, and I end up with open fingers. Now I can take him straight down. That's a variation of number 1. Now if I choose to finish it, I have to spin around and finish it still with same one, which is armbar number 1. Come on up, please. I'm going to do that for you one more time. So from here like this, I'm going to go this way now. I'm going to grab it, keep it on my back, bring it up and over, and turn him straight down. That's still armbar number 1. Okay, next one, from here like this, I'm actually going to bend my elbows, step out, open the fingers straight up, and pass this hand to the other one. Step back, and I end up in an armbar again. One more time. So from here, I'm going to pass it to the other hand and to an armbar. Another way to disguise repetition is that from here like this, I'm going to step back with my elbow, and I'm going to get rid of his hand. When I get rid of it, now I'm just going to treat it like an inside wrist. I can put my hand over and take him straight down. One more time. So I'm going to step back, get rid of that hand, put my hand on top, and end up with it again. Those will be the double wrist ones. Now from double sleeve, I'm going to introduce you to a concept that I like to use a lot, and that's the power of the circular motion. Notice from here like this, I'm just going to circle with my hand, duck under, his hand actually will end up in between my elbow, hand on top. Another variation of the armbar. I don't have to hold the wrist. It just gets caught right there. One more time. From the sleeve, I'm circular motion, duck, and straight down. Okay, coming back. Okay, now we're going to go to actually from doing arm bars from a cross or a jab, doesn't matter. So from here, a conventional way, very easy way to do it is when he punches, I'm going to step out to the side, do an outside block. Again. So when he does it, I'm going to step out to the side. Now notice from here I can grab it, and now I'm armbar number 1. One more time. So I can step out to the side, grab it, I'm in armbar number 1. Now I can do a check system, which means I can check with the left hand from here, and actually I strike to the face, then I can step into an armbar. Again, so when he punches, I'm checking, striking to the eyes, step in. Now remember, I don't have to do an armbar, I can do an arm break from here. Again, so my check is actual strike to the face. The other one goes to the face, I grab it, I break it at the same time. When I break it, then I'm going to step into an armbar. Now from a punch, I can also end up in armbar number 2. And the way to do it, when a punch comes, I'm going to step out the other way. Notice my thumbs gets on top, bring it back. Now I'm in armbar number 2. Again, let's do a quick review. So I can step out to the side, right hand only. I can check it, go into it, or I can step the other way and twist it and step into it. Those will be all the versions for right now from against the punch. The last one we're going to do is a belt grab, which means if he reaches over to grab my belt, natural tendency here is to do armbar number 2, which is twist this. But remember, I'm thinking, armbar number 1, number 2. Number 1 ends up in my stomach. He's already there. So by me turning, that's already armbar number 1. I don't have to do a whole lot. One more time. So if he grabs, by me holding him, stepping back, what does this remind you of? Armbar number 1, side to side. So I can still do the regular one. Again, let's go back really quick and review everything. We did double wrist from behind. We did a couple of different ways of doing it. From here like this, we did one with getting rid of the arm. from here. We did one with holding on to it. We did one with ducking under, giving it to other hand. Double sleeve one, we did one with a circular motion. We ended up with an arm bar. From the punch, we did one stepping out of the way, grabbing, doing an arm bar. We did one with a check system, stepping it to an arm bar. We'd ended up going the other way, straight to an arm bar. And we did it from the belt grab, which is twisting. Now remember, you feel free to take any of these and add your little spices into it. And that's what makes it your style. One of the things I really want you to remember is that in doing an armbar, you're not limited by just using your hand. Remember, it's a concept that we're after. So if you get in a position where you're doing an armbar, you're going halfway down and he starts resisting, I'm not gonna get down to his position to do something. I can use my leg to finish the rest of the armbar. Or from here like this, if he goes halfway again, from here I can kick my leg over and use the back of my thigh to still create the same position as doing an armbar. Okay? And also remember, what you can do, and this is very important, this is where the beauty of freedom of what we're talking about comes out. And that's whatever you can do to the arm, the joint, you can do to any part of the body. So from here like this, I can step in and do the same thing that I did to joint to his elbow. I can do it to his leg, to his knee, by grabbing the ankle and taking him straight down. So that's still an armbar done to the leg, which ends up with it to be a leg lock. So I don't want you to think like you're limited to any of those. So like especially for some of the cops and stuff, imagine if I'm holding a gun here, and if you reach for the gun from here like this, all I have to do, I can have my hand open, but just simply turning my hip will actually use him to do an armbar. Okay, so I don't want you to think you're limited by just doing the hand. From here, you can use your shoulder, your hip, your head, any part of your body against it. Or if you're in a situation like a telephone booth, or you have a desk or something, you can actually put the elbow against the wrist. Another good thing about doing an armbar, it's good when you're fighting people, more than one person. So what happens is, from here, I can actually use an armbar to throw him to somebody else. Okay, actually defend myself and keep him there in a position that I can fight him. These are going to be some great drills that you can actually use in your classroom or training with your partner to be able to disguise repetition. Another way to do an armbar is off your shoulder. I'm going to give you some examples like that. So from the outside wrist grab, notice I'm going to come up. Since it's already up, I'm going to place it on my shoulder. From here like this, I'm going to put it up against the elbow, turn his elbow over, grab my wrist, and step straight back. So that's another version of the armbar. One more time. So notice I'm going to drop, bring it on my shoulder, stepping back, straight down. I'm going to do the same technique. Go fighting stance, please. If he does a cross, notice I'm going to block at the same time. I'm going for the eyes. So one more time, please. So when he does that, I'm going to shin kick at the same time, step out from here like this. I'm going to step in, I'm going to break the arm, which is still a reverse armbar. I can break it straight down. I can also, when he does this, I can strike, duck. Now the elbow is still straight, I can strike it with my shoulder. Again, so when he punches, I'm going to straight, go duck, break it right here. That's a reverse armbar. Or I can duck and strike it with the other shoulder. Okay, so really quick, go over them again. So from the outside wrist, we went over the shoulder. From the punch, we did two different ways. I can duck from here and go under, or I can complete the circle and straight down. Or I can step out to the side, circle, and it ends up in my arm. One more time. So check it, bring it down, give it to the other hand, and bring it straight down. So these will be some of the ways to disguise repetition of doing arm bars over the shoulder. Now, since we're talking about techniques and disguising repetition, next one will be the knife. So can you grab a knife, please? Again, with a live blade or with a practice knife, if he steps in, my two options are, one, I'm going to step out of the way. First thing I'm going to do. Now, I would not want to step in to do an armbar, obviously, because his blade will go right into me. Okay? So a couple of things I'm going to do. I'm going to step out to the side. I'm going to attack the arm, break it. So I'm going to break it, get out of the way. So I'm completely away from the knife. I'm going to do a disarm, stripping, which I'm going to cover in one of my next tapes, how to actually strip the knife out. I'm going to strip the knife and use the knife to actually go to armbar number one. Watch that again. So my hands are up, I'm stepping out to the side, I'm gonna break it and get out of the way. Attack the knife and push it straight down. So I end up in armbar number 1. I can do stuff to actually end up in armbar number 2, and that's by doing cross blocks, reaching over, same concept again. But I wouldn't want to bring it to my chest for obvious reasons. So this time, I'm going to bring it up, twist it, attack the knife towards him, turn it, and I got armbar number 2. From here, actually, I can use a knife against him. Again, remember, you're not limited to what we're teaching you actually here. You can just broaden your mind and think about what ifs, and that's how you're going to see the beauty of this whole thing. In the beginning of the tape, we mentioned a couple of different things. One of them was understanding the difference in static and dynamic training. And this is where my love and passion comes for the martial arts, is through the dynamic training, because I truly believe it's more live. So the dynamic training, one of the drills that we do is called the armbar drills, and the other one is called the tie-in and tie-out drill. We're going to start with the basic armbar drills, which we do often in our classes. So on this one, the first concept before we actually start is the clock principle. So imagine your target and your opponent is always 12 o'clock. And I'm standing in the middle of a clock. So that would be 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, all the way to 6 o'clock, and all the way back to 12. So the first thing I want to work on is understanding the clock principle. So if that's 3 o'clock, I'm going to step with the closest foot and step back to the other back. So from here like this, if I want to go from 3 go to 9 o'clock, I'm going to step left foot and right foot back. So if my opponent is over there, please stand over there. If he attacks me, I'm going to go 9 o'clock, stepping out to the side. Or I'm going to go preferably 11 o'clock, which is right by him. And I end up, go back. Or if he steps with the left, okay, from here like this, I wouldn't want to go this way because I'm walking into his other hand. So when he does this hand from here like this, I'm going to go to 1 o'clock. So it'll be right and left foot. Now, after understanding the clock principle and drilling this over and over again, we're getting into the armbar drills. Now, I want you to make sure you understand, just because this drill could be applied in any particular joint lock. Right now, we're just going to talk about armbar. He's going to come straight down, motion, and my both hands will go from here like this, in a circular motion, go with him at the same time. One more time, please. So I'm going to step 1 o'clock and get him in armbar, but I'm going to let him go. He stands up. Now he's my 12 o'clock again. Maybe this time he'll do left. When he does, I'm going to take 2 steps and get out of the way. Let him go. He comes up again. So all I'm basically working on right now is, keep going. I'm just going to sidestep him at the same time. There you go. And I'm just getting myself into the armbar position. That's a regular one. Now, instead of going like this, he could be doing a straight punch to me. I would treat it the same way. So notice I'm still doing the same footwork from here. So far we've done straight down, we've done punch. Now while I do an armbar, he can grab my wrist. When he does, I do the exact same thing. I'm still back to an armbar. So it doesn't matter if he goes over, if he punches me, or if he grabs. I'm going to treat it the same way. Now he could also come down. I could go to an armbar and notice I'm not in a good position. So I'm going to duck and get myself in a better position. Again, he comes straight down. I go for it and go, I want to add 1 turn into it. Then go right back to armbar again. Okay, this time, when I'm doing the armbar drills, he might do a spinning backhand. Okay, stop for a second. When he does, notice my hand will stick with him, cover him, and actually go with him. So if he does it again, turning, I'll go with him to armbar. Again, straight down. So we covered going straight down, come straight. He punches, I treat it the same way. He grabs, I treat it the same way. Does a spinning backhand, I treat it the same way. He comes straight down again. I duck, and I go back down. Now from here like this, not all the time it's going to be that particular angle. Sometimes he might throw a hook. So watch, if he does straight down again, and this time he does a hook, okay, so from here like this, I'm going to hit him at the same time, which is watch the stop hit. So while he's hooking me, my hand comes, raises the arm, and I go back to an armbar. So if he hooks me again, look how short this distance is right now. between me and him. So when the hook again, so what he does, I'm going to hit him. Then I'm going to duck, I'm going to go back to the armbar drill. Now if he does it again, punches me, straight punch, I'm going to grab, I can do a pretzel. We covered this before. So one more time, he comes straight down, he punches me, I hold on to the wrist, and I can actually do a pretzel to him. Okay, so let's do a quick review of all the armbar drills. He comes straight down, sidestep, he punches, I sidestep. From here he does a spinning backhand, I go with him, he hooks, I strike at the same time, go under, he comes straight down again, I can duck and use my shoulder or my regular armbar from here. Okay, this would be a great way for you to get a whole class going and try to practice the arm bars in a more dynamic version rather than static version. Next one we're going to do, I've borrowed this from the Filipino art, which I love dearly because of the whole idea of dynamic training versus static. It's called a tie-in and tie-out drill, or what they call the hubad. And the way you do it is stand facing each other. I'm just going to have him do it with a straight punch, with a straight downward strike. So he's going to come down, I'm going to check, raise, slap, hit. So he's going to block, raise, slap, hit. Block, raise, slap, hit. And we just go back and forth doing that. Okay? This is a great energy drills that you can do a lot of stuff from this energy drill. So from here, since I'm working on arm bars, I can use that force and go right to arm bars and feed him again and go back into it. So from here like this, notice I'm going right to the arm bar, coming back into it. Okay? Now from a hubad, you can also, instead of downward strike, you could punch me. So I could check, raise, slap, hit. Check, raise, slap, hit. Okay? There you go, check, raise. Now when I check it, I could go in right to the arm bar. That would be a good dynamic way of doing it. And also when he does this, okay, while we're doing this, there you go, keep going. I can feel his force. One of these times with his right hand, he's gonna push me. When he pushes me, from here, I'm gonna use that force. Okay, because there is such a thing as muscle memory, right? So your body will actually remember when it's being pushed. So next time he pushes the shoulder, my body will know, oh, I've been there before. It's a point of reference for me, and I'm going to end up with an arm bar. Again, take these two drills and really work on them together. The hubad, which is a tie-in and tie-out drill, and the arm bar drills, the different variation with the concept of the clock principle. In my next training tapes, we're going to break down more of the wrist locks, go actually into lock flows a lot more, and getting into the weapons. So have a good time training.